right. All right, YouTube, what's up? It is Combat Esports Media here. We are back here with another one. We have Crooks Tha Great here. Now, unfortunately, D.A.R.K could not join us. He is not feeling the best. But Crooks, how you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Fresh off a straight hour and a half stream. Got in some fights today. You already know, so I'm feeling good.
Yes, sir. And all of the links will be down below in the description. Crooks' link. So y'all make sure y'all go sub up to him on YouTube, and all of our links to our Twitter, to me and D.A.R.K's channel will be in the link down below as well. And let's get right into it. All right, so Crooks, let me ask you, man, just how did you get started? Like, what's the journey of Crooks Tha Great, man?
Jesus, bro. Jesus. It was started a long time ago, bro. It's been like 8 years. It's been like 8 years, bro. I started off in UFC 1. So really, I started playing the UFC franchise real heavy in UFC 1, like starting at EA Sports UFC 1. I had played the THQ UFC, so like Undisputed and 2010 and all that stuff with Brock on it. But I really started to get into it in UFC 1, and then I really wasn't that good of a player. I used to watch Martial Mind all the time just to try to get better, bro. So that I got to fight him in UFC 4 is honestly just real insane. But yeah, bro, I really just kept playing and I had fun, and then I was watching the fights. So then after the fights, I would jump on and try to play with my favorite fighters and stuff. And then before I knew it, I started matching up with a lot of the elite guys, and then they started giving me tips here and there. And before I knew it, I was on my way, you know?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting you mentioned that, you started 8 years ago, man. Just that journey from UFC 2 to UFC 4, like what obstacles, the things that you went through to get to the point where you're at now.
Oh man, a lot of ass whoopings, bro. A lot of ass whoopings. Like that's what I tell a lot of newer players, man. You're gonna take your beatings before you get better at the game. Uh, Super important to just learn as you go and don't get discouraged with it. That's really what I did. I was a top 100 player already um, at the game and heading into UFC 2. So then I joined T4H in UFC 2 over on the Xbox side. They kind of taught me all that I needed to know about the grappling because UFC 2 was a grappling game. Uh, and then after that, UFC 3, at the end of UFC 2, I kind of got associated with Z Hunter a little bit. Um, and he got me into Vegas MMA for UFC 3. So then that's where I got my striking down. And then from there, from UFC 3, it kind of just took over. I really started making a name for myself in the ESFL. And then I was always a top 100 player pretty much since UFC 2 all the way up until right now.
Yeah, so I want to actually, since you brought up camps, how did you, join? Probably most would say probably the most prestigious camp in UFC 4 right now with D.A.R.K. How did that come about?
Bro, they didn't want me, bro. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't want me. When they first formed, I had already knew Romero. I knew Swiss from fighting him in UFC 3. I had already knew Papa Doc, so they already knew who I was. Pre-United as well. I had asked them right as they had formed it if I could get in, and they were all former UFC like ESFL champions. So Romero was like, if you perform good in the ESFL, then come talk to us. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm not gonna get in there because at that time I was kind of just transitioning from. I thought I was gonna transition from being a comp player to being a content creator. Back then, and then, time just went by. I kept in touch with those guys. Me and Romero have always been really tight. Uh, and then it came around for the summer series, and I was in EK, and the summer series, I won it. So I won my little tournament in there. And then after that, I just hit up Romero. I sent him a message that night, bro, and I was like, "Hey, can I get into D.A.R.K now, bro? I won a tournament. You know what I mean? Like I just won $550 in this tournament." And then I went to sleep, bro. I didn't think nothing of it. I thought, like he's gonna hit me up and talk to me about it when I wake up. But when I woke up the next morning, the dude had already announced that I was that I was part of D.A.R.K. I was getting messages from guys at EK asking me why I left, and I was just scrambling to figure out what the fuck was going on, bro. But that's really just how it happened, man. Like, I messaged him. He ran it by Papa Doc and Swiss. They were impressed with what I did in the summer series. Zayef was in there as well. Me and Zayef were cool, man. I kind of helped Zayef learn UFC 4 a little bit. I'm not taking credit for anything that he does because he kind of took everything that he learned from everybody and just ran with it. But he was in there as well. They all said yes. They put me in the group chat, put me on the list, and I've been there ever since, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. Heartwarming to hear. But let's transition over to another game, that is Esports Boxing Club, and I know we've talked and you said publicly what you think about Esports Boxing Club, but now with all of the recent information that's come out and everything, where you standing at with the game right now?
I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a breath of fresh air. I feel like it's gonna compete. It's gonna cause EA to have to make better UFC games, just because they have a combat game that's gonna really push them to be good, gameplay wise. I'm excited on that front. I'm also excited because I love boxing. I played Fight Night Champion as a kid, um, and you want to use your favorite boxers. I mean, there's probably not as like polarizing boxers as there was back in the day, but at the same time, there's a lot of really good boxers right now. So I'm excited for that. I'm kind of just keeping my excitement more tame than I feel like a lot of other people are because I don't want to set the bar too high for the game and then for it to come out and then it not reach my expectations and be like, oh, this game's a dud. So if I keep my expectations low, then they're gonna set the bar higher and higher and higher. Um, with it being a brand new, like I don't know how new the development company is to making games. Do you know anything about that?
SCI, actually, I've heard like they've made like a few small games before, but nothing like on a scale of like this. Nah, not like
Oh,
this.
okay.
Yeah, not like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So like with that, they're gonna make mistakes because they're a newer company and making, especially combat sports games. They're gonna make their mistakes. There's gonna be broken mechanics when they come out. People are gonna be like, "Oh, this game it sucks," because they set their expectations so high. And it's like, well, what do you expect? They're going to be a newer gaming company coming in. It's their very first game. Um, but what's going to determine if it's a good game for me is like how quick they're on to adjusting things that the community point out is wrong. I feel like that's something that EA Sports Canada that makes UFC 4 that's what they lack in, and I feel like that's what pisses off a lot of the UFC franchise. Uh, the fan base of the UFC franchise is that they're very slow to react to things that are breaking the game. Like if you think about it, we had to put up with the single leg bail for hell long. The standing guillotine is still broken. The rear naked chokes out of back sitting were way OP'd. I mean, they're still OP'd now, but the windshield chokes, like the top mount glitch, like all of those things have been around since the beginning of the game, and they just never fixed them. Though Soto Gari trip is broken as hell. We've been complaining about that for a long time, and they just never got on it. So I'm interested to see how ESBC goes about, uh, how quick they go about tuning their game and things that are wrong with their game, and that's really gonna affect my opinion on it. But I'm really excited for it, man. I'm a boxer. I've been calling myself the best boxer in UFC 4, so I'm interested in taking my boxing skills over to ESBC and see how it translates.
Yes, sir, and that's great to hear. And let's get into the juicy stuff, man. So yesterday, we put up on our Twitter a video of Pryoxis basically explaining and talking about how the transition from being a ESFL comp player, or just a comp player in general, to content creator was. We asked Fight Night Finance, asked us, so everyone that's been on here, we've asked the same question. And yesterday, clip got a little bit of attention, and a lot of the comp players didn't agree with it. You've done both. Cody has done both. Fight Night's Finest has done both. All you guys are content creators. But once before, comp players are still actively doing both. I just want to ask you, what are your thoughts on that whole thing with the content creation versus being a comp player?
Yeah, I seen the clip. I seen the clip. Of course, I seen everybody trying to go off on it. Uh, and I think people forget. And it's like we had a conversation a little bit earlier. I called you and I talked to you about it, but so I repeated on here basically what I told you. People forget guys like Priox, especially, and I'm using Prioxis. Prioxis was an ESFL champion, bro. Like he knows what he's talking about. Like people forget that he's blowing up in his with his content. But those of you guys that have known Proxys for a while, the dude was an ESFL champion on the Xbox side in UFC 3. So when he's telling you like that there's a difference in content creating and competitive play, like he's one of the people that would be able to speak to it because he's done both. He's been at the top of the top on the ESFL and he's at the top of content creating. So he's one of the people that when he's talking about it, you should really heed what he says, you know what I mean, and really listen to it. Uh, I myself, my view on it, I feel like I think where people kind of got twisted up with what he said is if competing in the ESFL and competing in competitive UFC play is easy, and it's not. That's not what he's saying. But the thing is about it is it's just as hard being a content creator and a streamer playing the game because you not only have to be a competitive player, you have to be an entertainer as well. So one's gonna take away from the other. You know what I mean? And like it's like I told you earlier with it, right? That's why if you guys go back and watch myself and Prize fights on his stream when he was doing the channel member fights, they were always a lot closer in our videos than they were on stream because he was being an entertainer. He's entertaining his stream. He's talking to people on his stream, whereas I'm not streaming. So I can lock in and not have to worry about breaking down what I'm doing or trying to keep my chat happy, reading comments, trying to keep my chat engaged with what I'm doing. But like when we're recording a video, when it's just him and me, and we're both locked into the game, you're gonna get way closer fights because we're not having to entertain people. We're locked in against each other. We're going mano a mano, throwing hands, and it comes down to making reads. So the reads are gonna be better and all that different stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a difference. Not taking away from ESFL fighters, it's very hard to compete in the ESFL. Very There's a lot of anxiety that goes into it. I could tell you that. I'm kind of mentally preparing myself that for ESFL Vegas because I know that shit's gonna be talk about me being anxious, bro. Damn, when you're competing against other competitors and stuff, you're gonna be sweating like a mug. But um, yeah, no, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. Just because one you have to be an entertainer and a competitor, as compared to one you're just locked in and you're just being a competitor. So yeah, I don't know. I respect both, but at the same time, I feel like to say that there's not a difference or that one's harder than the other is really just not true.
And I agree with that, and I just think a lot of people just heard when he said ESFL is not hard. They just heard that, and they got kind of offended, which is it's kind of understandable because they're not putting in hours and hours of their time and lives in it, but they're putting in a decent amount of hours into prepping, like you said, mental preparation and camps and spars and things like that. But me personally, I just don't think it amounts to like what you said, editing videos, making thumbnails, reading a chat while playing, trying to get collabs going, stuff like that. That all that is that's a lot rather just than being locked in, like you said.
Yeah, and not a lot of people. That's why when he said if you're not in it, you won't understand it. Because and I mean you're a content creator yourself. There's a lot of times where I call you at like 12 o'clock in the morning, my time, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, your time, and you're still up editing videos, and I'm up making thumbnails. You know what I mean? Like we're thinking of you have to not only stream, but then you're thinking of video ideas. You have to like if you're authentic and you're original, you're trying to come up with your own concepts and then like if you're gonna do a collab, like what collabs work with such and such players, like how are you gonna go about it? Like how are you gonna promote? their channel on top of being like there's a lot that really goes into that I think that a lot of people that are not content creators don't really see. Like, and it's super important. Like, yes, being a competitor is hard to do. And I think a lot of the newer competitors, a lot of the newer ESFL fighters kind of took offense to it because they're like, well, I'm putting in time. Bro, we've been there. We've been there. We put in the time. Go check the resumes, bro. We put in the time. Y'all new to this. We ain't. We ain't. I'm not new to this, bro. I've been here. Been here, done that. Prize been here. He's done that. Cody Dank, been here, done that. Like, we've already put in our time in the game. So now we're putting in the extra time into being a content creator. So like when we're talking about it and when we're telling you that there's a difference, you should really respect what we say because we've already been in your shoes and now we're on the other side. And some of these people, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but some of y'all are barely in the ESFL. Like, some of y'all just got there. You feel what I'm saying? Some of y'all ain't even competed for a title. Some of y'all didn't compete in the summer series. Like, some of y'all weren't even here for UFC 3. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we've been doing it for multiple games, man. So with all due respect, like when we're talking about just the differences between content creating and competing, you know, we have the right to be saying what we're saying because we've been there, we've done that. And all the you notice that none of the OGs, you don't see anybody that's been competing for a long ass time ever say nothing. It's the newer guys. So it's like, okay, you know, I understand. We're not trying to disrespect y'all, and I know people are gonna come at me for this clip because I know you probably gonna clip it up. But like, you know, if you want to sit down and have a conversation with me about it, I'm more than happy. But I ain't gonna hold my tongue on some shit that I don't think is true, and I think some of y'all are just a little bit sensitive when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, 100% agree. Can't disagree with that. You know, when the OG talk, you know, you gotta listen, like he said. But right, what is it? April, right? Usually around this time, we're usually getting some type of news. You know, we hear something about UFC 5. You know, we get something. Well, like, are you optimistic about the game? You're like, is it getting worrying? Just like, what you thinking right now?
In terms of when it's dropping, or like,
Yeah, just like when it's dropping.
Well, it's every 2 year game, so we're in this year is gonna be when they drop it. I don't know. I would anticipate we'll see something around like June in terms of like signups for a closed beta or something. I'm just as in the dark as you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Optimistic about it. Probably like an after summer drop or somewhere in like September or October. I could see, but um I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard anything either, but normally they keep it hush hush and then they just kind of push it all at one
Yeah.
time. Um, I would expect to see something about it. If we haven't heard anything about it by International Fight Week in July, then chances are it's probably not going to come out until next year. Um, so that would be around if I was going to say where you're going to hear something, it's probably going to be in July and International Fight Week or somewhere around there.
Yeah, and you talked about the ESFL live event kind of earlier about, you know, you trying to mentally prep and things like that. Just what are you doing, you know, other than the mental preparation to get ready, and just like on the ESFL live event itself, what are your thoughts? Because this is the second live event we had since, you know, the land event UFC 2, which was 2 games ago, almost 3 when UFC 5 dropped. So, you know, just overall with the ESFL event, what are your thoughts?
I think we've only had one live event. I mean, they had the one in UFC 2. They had one that was online that you could win money on,
Mm-hmm.
but in actual person, this will be the second one. Um, it in terms of getting ready for it, that what you're saying? Okay. Getting ready for it. I mean, you just I kind of took a couple months to really just take off of the game. You know what I mean? Like because coming off the summer series last year, I put in a lot of work and with my content creating, I'm on the game a lot. So I kind of just I took a break from streaming for a while. My streams kind of drift off with UFC 4. I kind of took a break. Um but now I'm just real ramping it up. Like it's April, it's at the end of April. Now we're going into May, so this whole month I'm going to be playing a lot more so that way when we get to the LAN event, I'm not burnt out. I'm not like, oh damn, I got game fatigue. Like I don't even want to play this game no more. And that's what I feel like a lot of people do is they put in so much time that by the time they get there, they're just gonna be burnt out. You know what I mean? So just timing when I'm peaking, like we're like real fighters, right? You know, they don't train all year round, bro. Like they take breaks and then they ramp it up as they get closer to the fights,
Right.
and then they kind of take that break right before they fight, and then so that way they're not burnt out and their bodies aren't. Same thing. You just get mental fatigue from playing the game because you're playing it so much, and so I'm just really just wrapping up my play, having fun with it again, you know, playing with everybody, getting on streaming again, just trying to compete. I'm gonna be competing in the ESFL probably I would say about like 3 weeks out. I'll start just getting used to competing in front of people again and then just go from there.
Yeah, and that's good to hear. And I just want to leave you off with this last question. We're approaching, the end of, well, no, we're not approaching it. The year just started, so we got a few more months left to go. But just what's next, for you in general with your channel, with your brand, and just content creation in general.
Well, I got I don't let people in on my master plans. You know what I mean? Like my end goal, only a certain amount of people know what my end goal is with it, but I feel like it's trending in the right direction. My channel has grown exponentially since I started. I only started streaming a year ago, and I'm already almost at, you know, peaking close to hitting 4,000 subs on YouTube. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Of course, I'm learning how to do my own thumbnails. Like I'm doing different kinds of videos, like trying to be original with my content. I feel like a lot of people they'll take the Marshall blueprint or they'll take the Pride blueprint and they'll be like, well, this made them famous, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do that. But it's like, nah, like do your own stuff. That's what's gonna get you to where you want to be at. So like just coming up with ideas and just doing different things that I feel like are me. I mean, I'm not trying to do anything that anybody else is doing. I mean, some of our stuff might, kind of intertwine with each other because we're in the same content creating community, but um just just growing my channel, man, just trying to help people. That's what I feel like that I'm doing. Trying to help the community as a whole become a better just try to become better players, what I mean, better people, because I feel like there's some people out there that really don't get recognized for being as good as they are. So like trying to do collabs with them, um, trying to collab with the big content creators. I know I got a fight in with Marshall. I just did the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight over on Prize stream or on Prize channel. I did a fight with you not too long ago on my channel and on your channel. Um, so just trying to get a lot of these content creators that are on the come up some exposure as well. Um, and just really just staying on the grind, bro. That's really what I'm trying to do. Just be consistent with everything, and the sky's the limit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's good to hear. So, with that being said, you got any last words, any advice for the other streamers and content creators out there in the community?
You just got to stay consistent with it, bro, and don't try to follow exactly what everybody else is doing. Like that's the key. You know what I mean? Be true to yourself. Don't be somebody that you're not. There's room for everybody in this community. So like, my content isn't the same as your content. My content isn't the same as Proxys's or Marshall Mines or Ricky J's or anything. We'll all have our own lane. Just stay in your lane. It's like I've told you before, like there's no traffic in your lane. Just stay in your lane. Why would you want to merge into somebody else's lane and maybe collide with them? You know what I mean? Like just drive in your own lane, be consistent, push hard for it. Don't get discouraged when the views aren't there initially. The views will come as the consistency is shown. That would be my best advice, and just have fun with what you're doing, man. Don't let it become like a burden to you. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I have to do this. Because I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I have to do this or like I have to do that. Like, no, you should want to do it. Because I know me personally, I'd be sitting on my couch sometimes at night, putting on my headphones. I come up with an idea, 2 o'clock in the morning, create a thumbnail for it. The very next day, I'm on there creating a video for it. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, I got my video done. You know what I mean? So don't get discouraged with it. Don't let it become a burden to you. Don't get discouraged with everything that's going on in the community. Don't judge yourself based off of other people. You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, well, Crooks blew up this fast. Why am I not blowing up this fast? Or like, why am I not getting 20K when I see Pry has 65K? We're streaming the same kind of game. Just everybody has their own process. Everybody's going through their own progress of being content creators, and your time will come. You just gotta show the consistency with it, be a good person, respect other content creators and what they're doing, and they're more likely to help you. So that definitely be my advice. You know, I've told you personally. I mean, we've talked off stream. You know, what I mean, and we talk regularly. You know, you give me advice, I give you advice. I talk to Prize still. I talked to him. You know, I hit up Marshall and asked him things about my stream as well. So don't be afraid to ask for help either. There's a lot of content creators that are out here that'll help you do different things. So all of those things, pretty much just take them into account and just have fun with what you're doing, bro. Fuck it. If you don't get the viewers, whatever, bro. You're doing what you love. That's what's important.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that is going to be the end of the video, man. Again, I will be leaving Crooks' link down below in the description. It's going to be the very first link, as always, with everybody else we've interviewed. And also, if you want to get live updates on UFC 4, ESBC, Fight Night, and anything league related, competitive related, follow us on Twitter. We actually... we're the very first people to, you know, give you all the live updates on the UFC 4 fighter stats, man. So you follow us on Twitter, you get that type of stuff. But all links will be down below in the description. Again, big thanks to Crooks. He didn't have to do this. Same with everybody else, man. They're just all the love and support we've been getting. It's much appreciated. But it has been Combat Esports Media, and we will see y'all next time.